Hey guys, this is Gino and Gray. Welcome to GGRated.
This is where we rate tech, gaming, movies, and news with our GG rating. Today is all about the Steam Deck.
With that being said, let's get it. Alright guys, we're going to be going over the Steam Deck today, and luckily, our buddy Gray over here does have a Steam Deck, the 64 gig model. Gray, what kind of tips can you say for us in reference to this Steam Deck that can kind of maybe push somebody over the edge to actually want to purchase one of these things?
Oh, Gino, do I have some tips for you? Yes, I do have the Steam Deck, the 64 gigabyte model. Got an awesome Japanese art skin on there.
I like it.
Man, I've been loving this thing, having a great time with it, and I do have a few tips to make your experience just a little bit better. So, first tip, buy from Valve directly. So I was actually talking with a buddy of mine at work about the Steam Deck. He was wanting to buy one, and he's asking me, what's the deal with the price, man? It's so expensive now. It went up, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He was looking for the Steam Deck on Amazon, and if you go to Amazon for the 64 gigabyte model, it is $669. There's no reason you should have to pay that much. I don't understand it because there isn't a wait time anymore for Steam Deck. You can pretty much buy it right now and get it super fast. So if you're gonna buy from Valve directly, it's $399 for the 64 gigabyte model.
So we do got it pulled up. This is the actual Valve website we just saw a second ago from Amazon. $669. It's $399 for the model that we're talking about here, the 64 gig. Can you just tell us about the do's and don'ts in reference to purchasing the Steam Deck, specifically the 64 gig model that you have?
Yep. So for the 64 gigabyte model, you're going to want to get an SD card if you're going to be playing a lot of AAA titles, bigger titles. Really, you're going to want more storage anyway. And supposedly, there's not much of a difference between putting an onboard SSD on this model and getting a good SD card. We can go into that in another video. But yeah, you're going to want to get a SD card, and that will fill up super quick if you don't do what I'm about to tell you about. So when you download games, instead of storing the shader cache and other things for the games on the SSD card, it'll start storing that on the main drive, even though you're downloading the game onto your SSD card. And that's why this is an important tip here. Posted by Albino Monk on Reddit. We're going to link this entire post in the description below. So, is shader cache and compat data filling your 64 gigabyte internal SSD? Here's the fix. Right now, there's an issue where shader caches and compat data for games installed on the microSD card are being installed to the internal SSD. For people like me with 64 gigabyte eMMC drives, this can cause them to fill up quickly. Instead of swapping in a larger SSD, you can do this instead. And then he goes step-by-step instructions in order to move those files over and link them so that everything works how it's supposed to.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you just real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to ask you. So, is there being an issue in reference to you just not able to install games because it's going straight to your internal SSD, or what exactly is the problem that's happening?
What it starts doing is it starts to fill up your internal drive, which has the Steam Deck OS on it. It'll start to slow everything down, and there's certain updates and things that you need the space on that internal drive to get. There's constant updates for the Steam Deck. It is constantly improving and the user experience now is significantly better than it was when it first came out. That's one of the awesome things about Steam Deck. It's just getting better and better. So they might fix this issue in the future. Right now, it was an issue with me because I keep downloading games and trying all the different titles just to see what the Steam Deck can run. And it can run a lot.
Well, so the question I have to ask you though, does it come with the anime style skin? Have you purchased
no.
an SD card like you got?
I'm actually going to link that down in the description below. We are that was about $15 skin. You just got to take your time putting it on there. I actually have a matching wallpaper on desktop mode, and it looks awesome. We're gonna have a little bit of footage of that, and I think it's really cool. So.
Awesome. Well, guys, I will say this too, in reference to what Gray was talking about, is those directions that Albany Monk posted on Reddit. that he followed himself. We'll do a video. If you want to do and see a video from us or from Gray, just post some comments below. Let us know, and we'll try to get that out to you to kind of give you a step by step, a little bit better step by step if we could, as far as video wise goes. Is there any other? So the tips that we have is buy straight from Valve, right? And we got get an SD card. If you get in the 64 gig model, like you said, there's no problem with price to performance, right? So that would be the second tip, right? You just get your SD card for the storage. And then the third one is look at your shader cache, right? And try to follow those directions to kind of maximize your performance and your storage in reference to that device. And you should be set to go. Good to go with it, right?
You should. There's a lot of other things we could talk about. We'll probably save that for another video, like docking and different things like that.
Yeah.
We're going to show some footage of it. And also, we are going to link the dock that I'm using down in the description below. And that's the awesome thing about Valve Steam Deck is that not only are they supporting their own Steam Deck dock, but they're making it so you can use any dock that you buy. It's really cool, and it's kind of like a big deal for a company that could potentially make way more profits on a dock to where they're working hard so that all these different docks can be used on the Steam Deck. So
that's awesome, and that's definitely something we're going to go over later in this video. The next section that we're going to talk about is going to be the gameplay. And Gray, I see on the video you playing your Steam Deck at the house right now.
I sure am. My beautiful wife was getting some B-roll for me. So this is me playing Dirt 3. We actually talked about this in last week's video. So click the link to go check that out where you can get a sweet deal on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so like most things that I throw at this thing at the Steam Deck, you might have to do a little tweaking in the settings, but for the most part, you're able to get away with excellent visuals. So that was Dirt 3, and we're getting right now into Devil May Cry 5. It actually...
I just got that game on Steam, too.
It had a good sale going on, didn't it? Like,
yeah.
You got it for a pretty good price. This runs great on the Steam Deck. I will say, I believe it's Deck Verified. You can actually run it with higher settings than it had listed. And then we're going right into Max Payne 3. Max Payne 3 runs great. I was able to bump everything up to high. Game. I run it docked, and I can play it on the Steam Deck. It just runs really good on that 1280 by 800 pixels by 1610 aspect ratio.
What's your frame rates look like when you playing this game? I mean, is it pretty steady? I mean, are they?
Oh yeah, so I can run everything on high on this game and turn like mostly everything up, and it's running at 60 frames per second solid.
Oh, that's all. That's not bad for a handheld either. Oh,
no,
look at this, Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. I'm actually emulating with a Wii U version of Breath of the Wild. So I'm gonna go through here and show how you can dock it up.
Okay.
You can download this from. You can actually get all these emulators by downloading EmuDeck, and that's going to be something else we can talk about eventually.
Okay. But yeah, straight to the docking that you got. I mean, you can go from and you're still playing Breath of the Wild. I see you using what kind of controller is that? PS4?
That's a PS4 controller. I really like the way that feels. Yeah.
Is it instant? I see that when you put it on. I mean, it looks like to be pretty instant, kind of like the Switch.
Yeah, dude, it just pops up. Their support and their updates for docking is excellent. So I haven't had any issues at all with docking the Steam Deck.
I mean, I see. Does the quality go up any, or is it mostly the same? Is it a stretched image? It looks pretty good though on the TV.
So I believe this is actually running around like 720, but it still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could crank it up some, but it already kind of struggles a little bit with running an emulated version of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Looks incredible though. Like looks really good.
So the feel and everything. I mean, is it comfortable after? I know you played it for hours. Is it something that you can sit there and play for a long time and not get uncomfortable with?
Yeah, I've had some long sessions with the Steam Deck. It looks big when you first get the thing, but surprisingly, like that doesn't matter. It fits great in your hands. This is me actually switching over to desktop modes. You can run this thing as a computer. You can do all kind of things. You can download apps and programs. It runs off of Linux. But they're constantly getting more and more support to do a lot of things you can do on Windows. This is a little foldable keyboard that I use with it.
And where'd you get this at? Just something off of Amazon,
Man,
or
I got this a long time ago off of
okay?
Amazon. Yeah,
But it
this is
mostly
one.
compatible with a lot of keyboards.
Yeah, this is just a Bluetooth keyboard that I paired with it. No issue. I'm going to the GG Rated YouTube channel right
Hey,
now.
good choice. Good choice. I like
Yeah, all
it.
of that runs really, really quick, really
Okay.
responsive. I
Yeah,
can
I
use
mean it's coming right
yep.
up.
I have a mouse dongle in the dock, but I can also use the mouse that's on the PlayStation 4 controller. Like I
So,
just
I mean,
found this out.
just that little something that you just did there that I don't see a lot of people talking about. If the PS4 controller, it seemed like it would be even better to use than the Xbox controller because you have a mouse right there at your hands.
Yeah,
But,
like I didn't even consider using that until I started to film all of this extra footage.
I see
It
you going
comes
into
with
the
mouse
retro
support.
aspect, so it runs a lot of the like RetroArch and stuff on the Steam Deck, just
Yeah,
like you would do on a desktop computer. You
right.
can do on the Steam Deck, but in
Yeah.
handheld.
So
So
you're going to download a thing called EmuDeck, and what
okay.
it's going to do is download all the emulators for you, have everything already set up. You just like drag the games into the right
Oh,
folders,
that's
and you're
instant. That's
good to
instant.
go. It makes things easy for you. They even have tools on there to add like art from the game
Yeah.
onto your Steam Deck, like gaming mode, everything. I can't say enough good things about EmuDeck. It works great.
Okay. No, so I see the two squares uh on your Steam Deck,
hmm
and I see you got the case as well. What does it mess anything up having um the wallpaper or anything like that? I don't know
No,
what you
no.
would call.
So those are actually touch pads that you can use as a mouse.
Okay.
You can also click them for like extra buttons and stuff. There's
Okay.
also buttons on the back of the Steam Deck. All like everything works great as it's intended. The way
Some
I have
Resident
it set
Evil
up
2
right
I
now.
see on there.
Resident Evil
Great.
2. So this is what's happening. We were trying to find Mr. X walking around, and I knew
Okay.
he was going to scare me, even though I was looking for him. This is the part in the game where I kind of quit playing because Mr. X scares the crap out of me, dude. So you're
This
gonna
is
see me jump, but like I thought he was gonna be right there, but I had to go looking for him, and he still got me. He
this is
still
one of
surprised
the
me.
all-time best games, and I know we talked about on this channel we're going to go over in the future in reference to retro games and try to play some of these. But this remakes that they did is amazing, and it looks like on the Steam Deck, it's playing, no stuttering.
You can
It's
actually
clear.
crank it up. Whoa! You can
It
actually
got you.
crank it up even more than it comes
Check that out.
verified. Yep. And I'm like, nope, I'm turning it off. And the cool thing about this, dude, so you can hit the top button and it'll actually turn the Steam Deck into a suspended state. So
Okay.
it is in
Okay.
sleep mode. And I went outside to play the next day, not remembering what I had done, and turned on the Steam Deck, and it went
And
right back to that
it's
part
the
I
same
was
screen.
at and scared me all over again. Yes.
Like I had the Switch. I know you had the Steam Deck, and we'll
Uh
have
huh.
another video in reference to Switch. But it's instant, right?
It's
It's if
instant.
you I see that when you put it on the dock, instantly up to the TV. You got desktop on there. It's steady frame rates, good quality, good graphics. When you take it off, when you turn it off, like you said, when you turn it back on, it's there, right?
Yeah.
So as far as like portability wise, it seems like that would be the way to go. Is
Yeah.
you're able to play all your catalog from Steam,
Yeah.
most of it. So
So
what's the
there
issues
are
you got to look for?
there are some games that won't work. So like the new Call of Duty, the anti-cheat that they use isn't made for Linux yet, and you can run some games that would only run on Windows by using Proton, which
Okay.
is pretty much tells it that hey, this is Linux, but I guess it tricks the game into thinking it's actually
And it's all
running on Windows.
And it's all
But
because of the anti-cheat with Call of Duty.
yeah,
I'm sure
right.
is the problem, right?
And there are some other games that just don't work, but most games do. You just might have to tinker. Like that's the thing. This thing is made to tinker with and to try things and to just explore all the possibilities of
So you
Steam Deck.
got. It looks like the gameplay is superb. In reference
It's
to
great,
some
man.
great games. You can play a lot of compatible games on it, and it's growing.
Yeah.
Valve is supporting this system, which I've grown to see. and it's actually great to see the competition in the portable
Yeah.
handheld market. You know,
Sure.
So with that being said, what would be your GG rating of the Steam Deck?
So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to the world-renowned GG rating here. I will say it's been an all-around great experience, but there are some negatives. So here's a few here. The shader cache issue with storage, that's something that I wasn't even considering when I was getting the Steam Deck. That's going to be one. Hiccups with certain games and compatibility and just general like Linux-based weirdness. Constant updates and bug fixes are definitely a good thing when it comes to that department. Battery life is hit or miss. So there's a fun little game I like to play with my battery life to see how many games or like what games am I going to have to switch over to help preserve my battery life. And I will say, for me, the pros far outweigh the cons. It's made to tinker with. If you enjoy that thing, there's a lot of things to do with the Steam Deck because it also is a PC. It is a computer, which is also a gaming device. It opens
Absolutely.
up lots of options there. Emulation is awesome. This thing is an emulation powerhouse. If you enjoy emulation, that's definitely some more videos that we can make about that. Hardware runs great. I think the APU that they have on this thing is just magic, and games run great using different tricks like FSX fidelity to make it run better, look better, and to not have to use as much graphical horsepower. I think the screen size helps with that too. So I will say,
with all that being said,
with all that being said, and I could say a lot more, I'm having to really stop myself here because there's so many good things. I will say that I give it a solid 9.
Oh,
It's a 9
like
out of 10 for me. And there's so much more room for improvement. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's a solid 9. And like I'm definitely a Steam Deck groupie, so like I'm all for it, man.
Well, hopefully I'll be joining you soon. Guys, until the next time, we'll see you later.
See you guys.